What's up, guys? And we're back for another episode of the Justin Caviar Show. My guest today is Scott Herman, the OG fitness YouTuber. All right. If you're into fitness and you're around my age, you know of this guy. This is the OG fitness YouTuber.
Hey,
He's
man,
also a coach.
Any age.
Any age. Sorry. The bodybuilding.com coach, the official Lionsgate Be Fit trainer. And if you're a real OG, you might have seen him on the Real World Brooklyn. Scott, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. Happy to be here. Sorry to interrupt you. I thought it was funny.
No, you're good. You're good. So I got to say, man, all my boys, I'm going to send this to my buddies. And when I was first getting hardcore into lifting back in the day in my adolescent years, you were one of the first YouTube guys to pop up as like the fitness man, right? All my buddies were like, dude, Scott Herman, gains. And this was like 2010, 2011, 2012. And
that's 10 in 2010, man. Remember that?
Yep. And what you called them, the Hermanites, right? I think I remember that. Yeah. So anyways, moral of the story is I'm going to send this to my buddies afterwards, and they're like, damn, dude, what a throwback.
Well, what's up to your buddies, bro?
Not that you're old. I want you to give a shout out to my buddy John Esser real quick. Can you do that?
John Esser?
John Esser.
Yeah, John Esser, what's up, man? You better still be making those gains. I know it might have been a while ago since you watched one of my videos.
He still watches them. He's in the gym all the time, man.
But that's what I like to hear.
You've been a fitness icon for a while, man. Tell people a little bit more about how you got into fitness, and then we'll go down into what you're doing today and everything.
Yeah, well, fitness has always been a big part of my life. I was very introverted as a kid. I mean, I had friends and, a great family and a good childhood and everything. But, out in public, I was still, a little more introverted. I was super into video games, and I would spend a lot of time playing, games like Zelda. Zelda is one of my absolute favorite. You can't see it, but I have like every Zelda amiibo in front of me. I got a big Zelda statue over here. It's like Dragon Ball Z's in the back and Zelda's in the front. But, so when I was a kid, I got bullied a little bit in school, and I had to find a place to kind of get rid of like that internal rage I felt. I was really into superheroes and comics. And I thought like, I don't like getting bullied. Maybe if I work out and get strong, people will leave me alone. And, maybe I can help, my friends or other people who might be getting bullied too. And that was like a very simple mentality that I had as a kid. So I just started working out in my basement. I found my dad's old weight set, like those old, really thin barbells with the cement filled plates that break all the time,
Yep.
And every day was bench and curl day, because that's all I knew how to do. I'm like, yeah, you're jacked. I didn't even know what a squat was. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna bench and curl every single day.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. And, from there, it just kind of turned into, more of a passion. I wasn't working out because I was angry. Like I found a way to kind of vent, frustrations through, just exercising. And then when I became 14 years old, one of my buddies on the wrestling team was like, hey, I know you're really into working out. Do you want to come work at a gym with me for a free membership? So I started working at a Gold's Gym like every Saturday for 3 hours, basically just like cleaning, the machines for a free membership. I would ride my bike there. And the owner of the gym, saw a lot of potential in me because I'm like super OCD. I mean, these machines were white. By the time I was done, they were like glistening. So he offered me like, more time, started paying me. Like by the time I was 16, I was running the front desk, making shakes and signing people up. And he would just like leave me there. He's like, yeah, I'll be back in 5 minutes. Come back like 4 hours later. I'm like teaching myself how to do all the stuff in the club. And, I ended up working with him for about 10 years, and we built a few clubs together. And that's what kind of landed me down. In my original videos, you see Answers Fitness Gym in the beginning of every single one. That was actually one of the clubs that we had built together. And I was running that club as a general manager. And one of the problems that I was seeing was that people were coming into the gym and they would sign up, but they didn't have, maybe the money to afford a personal trainer, or maybe they just didn't want a trainer, and they would come in the gym and work out and they wouldn't see any results because they didn't know what they were doing. And then they would just quit. And so I thought, what can I do to retain members at the club? And that's when I started my website, Scott Herman Fitness. And so when it first started out, though, it was just photos of all the machines in the club. It was like a starting photo and an ending photo. Because at that time I was, I was fitness modeling, and I had done a bunch of stuff with Men's Health magazine. And so I was just basically seeing, okay, so when I did the modeling shoot for Men's Health, they'd do a starting image and an ending image for each exercise with a write-up. And so that's what I started doing on my website. And then when members would sign up for the club, I'd be like, hey, if you don't know what you're doing, go to my website. It's free, and you can check out all the exercises here. And it was around that time I had auditioned for The Real World. This is back in 2008. And once I got the call, made it on the show, which we could talk about that later. There was a lot of things that happened that got me on the show that was kind of funny. Almost got arrested once. It was pretty insane. And I didn't even do anything wrong, but we could talk about that later.
It's awesome.
Like 7 cops arrested me at gunpoint. We'll talk about that later.
To get onto the show, you did some crazy shit.
Well, not to get on. I guess
during the show.
I was still kind of in my shell. I was still, I was 23, 24 years old. I wasn't introverted anymore, but I wasn't like completely out of my shell like I am now. I mean, even if you watch some of my earlier YouTube videos, I'm very like not awkward on camera, but also not like incredibly comfortable yet because it's all just all kind of new. But going on that show was a huge opportunity for me. And after the show, I lived in New York, and I was continuing to pursue like modeling and acting because I thought that's what I wanted to do. But then after 6 months or so, I just really started missing interacting with people and helping them with fitness. And so I started making YouTube videos because YouTube was still relatively new back then. And one of the heads at the Google offices in New York was a fan of my season, Real World Brooklyn. And then he actually reached out to me. He's like, hey, I know you're in the city. I work at the Google offices. I see you're making YouTube videos. Why don't you come by and I'll show you how you can make this, business and turn this into a way to make a living. And so I sat down with him, had a meeting, kind of explained to me like everything, everybody knows now, be consistent, create new content, interact with your fans, answer comments, subscribers, all that stuff. And so I had a choice to make. I was like, do I want to stay in the city and pursue modeling and acting, or do I want to start this business? And so I decided to start the business, and, here we are today. It was the right choice, obviously. And that was pretty much the upbringing. And it was scary in the beginning because, and we were talking a little before we started the call. People told me I was crazy, and a lot of people forget, especially this young generation, they grew up with social media. Back when I first started doing it, people just looked at me like I was this narcissistic asshole in the gym filming myself, like, what do you think, you're so cool filming yourself in the gym? I'm like, dude, I'm trying to teach people fitness on YouTube. They're like, YouTube is stupid. You're going to live in a cardboard box under a bridge. I'm like, well, my cardboard box is pretty awesome.
Yeah. It's a badass cardboard box.
Yeah, it's got a pool and everything.
Yeah, how do you fit it inside? Oh,
so
man, that's
that
awesome.
Was kind of like the humble beginnings, and I remember where I came from, and I remember the struggle, and all the people that got me here, and all the incredible support I had, and that's what kind of keeps me going now 10 years later.
It's crazy. Yeah, I think we found you my buddies found you, and then I remember back in like 2011, 2012, I watched a lot of your videos, but I think they found you on Facebook.
Oh yeah, Facebook. Well, before Facebook decided to kill themselves with their reach, Facebook was a really great way to get out there.
Yeah.
Before the pay to boost your post button arrived.
Yeah. Pay to play.
Yeah.
They know what's up.
Yeah. Back in the day, you could actually post on Facebook and your fans would see your post. It was the craziest thing.
Yeah. Not even like your own people, but like other people that don't know you that are discovering you for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Good luck now. So what was that like? I just want to ask you, because, obviously I'm a big gym. My girl calls me a meathead. How is it filming in the gym? Like, what is that feeling like when all the other meatheads are looking at you like, oh, look at this tool bag? Do you just kind of block it out, or do you think about it?
So I feel like when you first start out, or when I first started out and being so new, I would being on The Real World, you have a camera following you around 24/7 everywhere you go, right?
Okay.
So to me, that just completely shattered that wall of caring if people are watching and getting filmed, because I had it on such a big scale, right? But when you're in the gym, you know, sometimes people still give you looks or whatever. At this point, I could care less. Like, people are going to look, say what they want to say. Like, you know,
Well, people in your gym probably know who you are now.
Yeah, now they know who I am. And now it's so common that people know what you're doing, right? But it's funny you say that, because I was actually I had to film a clip in my gym yesterday for a video that I'm making. And so I had my camera stand, and there's a couple that goes there. They're really funny. But they're like what you would call like a little rough around the edges, you know, like they're very blunt with what they think and what they want to say, and they like to bust balls.
Right.
And so I'm holding my camera on my shoulder, and I'm walking by them. I'm talking to them, and the guy's wife, her name is Chris. He's like, you know, you just look like such a fag walking around with that camera on your shoulder in the gym. And excuse my language, I know people get really upset when they hear the word, but that's what she said. And I just looked at her, you know, and growing up, like, you know, being picked on and bullied, the way you learn to overcome that is to kind of just roll with whatever people say. And I just looked at her. I'm like, you got to be a little homo to film in the gym. And she's like, yeah, I guess so. And like, it just kind of went on. But like, people still say those kinds of things, you know, and I just kind of brush it off and go on with it. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'm just doing my thing, you know. Who cares how I look while doing it or what people think? But people still bust my balls, and they say some pretty incredibly hurtful things or ball busting things. Yeah, can't read the comments. So I just kind of react and, you know, brush it off and go, doesn't bother me.
Do you do reaction videos on your comments?
I have done some reaction videos on comments sometimes. Like, the best ones are when I post photos on the community tab. It's like, you know, and within the same comment thread, you know, people will tell me how great I look, how small I look, how much bigger I look. And then, you know, if I'm wearing clothes that are fitted, that you know, I look gay. Like, you look gay. I'm like, I don't know how you look gay. Like, why would you even say that? And who cares if you do? You know what I mean? But yeah, you get all those comments.
You can't please everyone, man. But I think that reacting to like the bizarre, outlandish comments, I think that would be good for the algorithm.
Yeah, no, I do that sometimes, especially when it's like a controversial video. You know, we talked a little bit about crypto earlier than this. I'm going to be reacting to all the comments from people saying incredibly mean things on my SHIB video once that coin pumps through the roof in about a year or so. I'm going to go back in time and be like, hey, remember when all of you said this? Well, guess what?
And that's the moment that Scott Herman took it personal.
Well, you know, sometimes I do take things personal because, you know, I've been here for a very long time doing these YouTube videos. I'm one of the only creators that will go and answer questions in the comment section. That's kind of how I built my channel. I built my channel on trust. I built it on being very transparent. You know, one of the most common things I get when I meet people in person is they go, wow, you're just like in person, like you are in your videos. Like, I feel like I can just come up and talk to you. And that was always the goal, right? Because if your true intentions are to help people, you want to make sure you're approachable when people see you in person. And, you know, especially now living in Florida, which is, you know, it's always hot, it's always sunny. There's a lot more people down here into fitness, and there's a lot more places to go and do things. You know, I run into fans all the time, and they just come right up and they're like, oh, I love your videos. You know, it's so nice to meet you. We take photos, we chat. I try to answer as many questions as I can, you know, see how their goals are. My dad always, you know, taught me, treat others the way you want to be treated. And so that's kind of how I live my life. So when someone, you know, leaves a comment or says like I'm being dishonest, I do kind of take it personal. I feel like, I mean, to a point you need to address people. Like, just like in real life, if 10 people walked up to you and 5 of them said you were a piece of trash, you're probably going to be like, excuse me, right? It's almost like we think because it's a comment, it doesn't really exist, but it does. And other people read that. So it's like you do kind of have to defend yourself sometimes.
Sometimes, right? But at the end of the day, like, these people, half the time, they don't even have a profile picture.
So half the time it's the same person with 5 accounts because they just want to talk crap to you.
Exactly. It's like, listen, bro, I know you're in your mom's basement eating Cheetos, and I know you're bored because you played 36 games of Madden this morning, but it's okay. Like, it's okay. Well, I appreciate you, and I hope your life gets extremely better.
Well, you know what the trick is you, even when you respond to people, you can never swear or get upset. Like, there's a few Instagram pages that I follow that talk about like what's going on in the world. And I always leave like sarcastic, sly comments, and then people will get like extremely upset about them if they have a different opinion than me. And they'll just like go right to insulting me. They're like, you just said that because you have a little dick because you take steroids. I'm like, we're not even talking about fitness. Like we're talking about something totally different. But then I always have a clever response, and they just get more upset, and then you just don't care. Do you watch Rick and Morty?
Oh yeah, I have right now I have Pickle Rick socks on.
Oh, nice. Well, it's kind of like that episode where Beth is talking to Jerry and she's like, remember that time someone called you an idiot and then you said, I'm not an idiot, you are. And then you refreshed the page and kept waiting for the response. Remember that? I forget exactly what he said, but like he just kept sitting there refreshing the page, waiting for the person to respond. Like that's how a lot of people are. Like they leave an insulting comment and they just keep refreshing the page, waiting for you to respond. So you just don't even need to.
I mean, at the end of the day, Scott, we have a finite amount of time on this planet. It's not enough energy and time that we possess that's worth diving into those people that are doing nothing with their lives. So we wish them the best. We hope they get out of the rabbit hole, but ultimately, it's not worth it. And the moment I realized that other people's comments, I mean, obviously some people are telling the truth, right? Like if you suck, you suck. You should definitely take that into consideration and then reform yourself. But I've seen guys that I look up to like Elon Musk and all these, serial entrepreneurs and all these go-getters. And I'll see, you're amazing. You suck. You're the worst. You're ruining the world. You're amazing. Oh my God, you're a genius. You're Iron Man. This is like, if Elon Musk is getting this stuff, of course they're going to say it about Justin. So it's just like, you can't read the comments, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you do read the comments, you need a reaction video so you get paid for it.
Yeah, exactly. Or just respond to all the nice ones, and that way the people who leave the ones being mean, when they do refresh the page and see they're being ignored, they get more mad.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is because most people, you get 100. Oh my God, Scott, you're a god. You're this, you're that, and no one responds. But the one, Scott, you got pencil arms. What? And then you get the reaction. They just want a reaction. They just want to talk to you.
Oh yeah, and sometimes people will leave a negative comment on my YouTube videos, and like a lot of times, especially when I first release a video, I do try to hit every comment, and then so I'll just go down the line, and if I happen to see a negative one and I respond. And again, like I don't respond upset. I just kind of like I'll pose a question or be a little sarcastic or like a little slick about it. Like half the time they respond like, "Oh, I was just kidding, man. I just want to get a response." I'm like, "Well,
exactly.
Oh, screw you, dude."
That's what they want, man, and they succeeded.
Yeah, exactly.
How long did when you were getting filmed with The Real World, when they were following you around with cameras? How long was it?
I was about 3 months.
Okay, so you're pretty used to it.
Oh yeah, dude. Like, I mean, every day you wake up, you go get you can't even like talk to anyone until they put your mic on, because obviously they record everything. Wake up, go get mic'd up, and then do your thing all day. They follow you wherever you go. And we were actually in New York City, so we were all pursuing different things on my season, like modeling, acting, Broadway, dance, like all that. But yeah, you get mic'd up. They follow you everywhere. We had a lot of fun. I'm actually trying to get my wife's. I was talking to the other day because I've been putting my name out there to do one of the challenges. I'm trying to do one of the so Mark Long just started doing the OG challenge, and I've been chatting with him quite a bit. And I'm thinking I'm going to do that one first once I get my call. But I'm like talking to my wife. I'm like, you still haven't even watched my season. Like we've been married together 10 years, and you still haven't even watched my season.
Yeah, she's just like, I'd rather not.
She's like, I don't want to see you like, hooking up with girls and doing all this stuff. I was like, what do you think of me? We've been together this long, and that's what you think? Like, come on.
Oh my God. To be fair, I haven't seen it either. I saw you as a fitness guy, and then I realized that you were on The Real World after.
I mean, it was a while ago, man. It's 2009.
Yeah. That's crazy. So long ago. It seemed like it was so close, but it's so long.
Well, I have all the DVDs, and I was thinking of doing a reaction.
That's how you know it was long ago.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking of doing like a reaction video of her watching it with me and posting it on my other channel, Oh the Humanity. And I actually found my my audition video that I sent in, and it is like so cringy that it's awesome. So I'm going to have her watch that one first.
Oh, man. The king of cringe.
Oh, dude, because it was like, I mean, it was good, obviously, because it got me on the show, but like, oh my gosh, you know, when you see yourself back then and, you know, how you talked and your mannerisms and you're like, wow, I've really changed, you know, since 10 years ago. You know, when I went to college, I did business management, and the first like day of class, they have you do a presentation and they record it so that when you graduate 4 years later, they film your last presentation and they give you both videos.
Yeah.
It's like,
watch the evolution.
Oh my God. So when I saw the first video, because I hadn't seen it obviously, and I'm like, wow, I really thought corduroy pants were dress up. Like,
your wife is like, oh my God, this guy.
Yeah. My wife is like a fashionista, so she helped a lot.
She's definitely helping you. I totally get that part. When you're filming these videos, right, and you've been doing this for a while, but somehow you've managed to stay relevant for longer than a decade now. How many times can you film doing bench press? How many times can you film doing flies? All of these different various exercises. Why do you think people keep watching you at the gym? Because there's only so much you can do, and you've done it for so long, and you've stayed relative for so long. How is that possible?
Well, so it's almost like YouTube is doing like anything in life. It's doing a circle, right? Where certain trends work, then they don't, then it's the next trend, and then the next trend, then it comes back. And the reason why I see that is because when I first started my videos, I was putting out like anywhere between 3 to 8 videos a week, because going back to what I said earlier about, starting my website so that members could come in the gym and learn what to do. Well, after the real world and after I started doing YouTube videos, I went back to my site, and then I just basically filmed 1 to 2 minute how-to videos for every exercise in the gym, and then put all those videos on my site so that when members signed up, instead of just having a photo, they actually had an instructional video. And those are the videos that you guys see when you search how to bench press, how to this, how to that. I have hundreds of exercises that are literally embedded all across the internet, right? Like I was actually putting together a bicep workout that I'm posting next week. It's a new series I'm doing called Forced Growth, right? And that'll kind of go into what you talked about earlier about how many times you do the same exercise. But I was looking up like ideas for bicep exercises that I wanted to use. And so I typed in like, dumbbell bicep exercises on Google search, and then a bunch of articles came up, and I'm clicking on them to see, some exercise ideas. And sure enough, every article I clicked on had at least 1 or 2 of my earlier how-to videos on bicep exercises, but now I'm sure you've seen the shorts, right? YouTube shorts. Yeah. They're like 1 minute videos. So YouTube kind of went through this cycle where in the beginning, it was okay to post 1 minute, 2 minute videos because the algorithm didn't care about watch time, right? So if you put a video on YouTube, and this is more like the last few years, if the video is 2 minutes long and somebody watches the whole 2 minutes of the video, YouTube still only counted that as a 2 minutes of watch time, and that would kill your reach. But if you put a 15-minute video and they watched 8 minutes of it, even though they only watched half the video, it's still 8 minutes of watch time. So the YouTube algorithm would say, okay, you're getting, longer viewership, you deserve a bigger reach. And so now with YouTube Shorts, because with TikTok and Reels on Instagram and everything, people are getting back to that shorter, session of watching videos. Now you're being rewarded for doing the 1 minute videos. And so it's going back to how I used to do things, because when I make my YouTube videos and I do fitness and I talk to my clients and I work with people, I don't like having to explain things, like over explain them, right? Even when I was in college, and when you're in school, they're like, you have a 10-page paper due on, this. I'm like, well, I can write that paper in 4 pages. So why am I being punished for being smarter than the amount of, pages you want me to use? I'm like, do I have to, 2.5 space every line to get this thing 10 pages long? It just doesn't make sense to me. And when it comes to fitness, what kind of really drove me down that path of keeping things short and simple When I first became a trainer, when I was 18 years old, the gym I was working in was a massive gym, 65,000 square feet. We had like 25 trainers, and we had a room in the back office where we would bring our clients in and do like our fitness evaluations, right? And I would sit there and watch the other trainers that were older than me. And there were a lot of people that were incredibly smart, like could tell you every bone, muscle, and tendon in the body. And then I would watch them sit down with these new clients that would come in. Like, let's say you just signed up for the gym, you go have your fitness evaluation, and they're like explaining, how every muscle in the body functions and how that relates to the exercises they're going to do. And
here's an anatomy class.
Yeah. And I literally would see these people's eyeballs roll into the back of their head, And so when I would get fitness evaluations, I would sell more training because people would come in and I'd be like, what's your goal? What injuries do you have? Okay, let's go on the floor. I'm going to beat you down for like 15, 20 minutes and, let me see how you like it. And then I would sign them up because they're excited. They're pumped. When you come to my channel to learn how to do a bicep curl, you're already coming there because you're trusting that, I'm not going to give you bad information. So if I say to do a bicep curl correctly, you want to have your hands here, your elbows here, you want to go all the way up, you want to go all the way down, that should be enough to get you to where you need to be. I don't have to explain to you how supination of the forearm activates your bicep more because most people just don't care. Yep. Right. And so now that it's back to do so, but I would have to incorporate all that stuff to make my videos longer because YouTube wanted longer longer view time.
Yeah. I think the best is a hybrid, is the long form. So you get the diehards that will keep watching you. And then the short takes to get the newbies and to get, straight to the point. I like that because I always thought you read a book, right? And you can't just write a 5-page book. But let's face it, most books that are in Barnes and Nobles or, on Amazon, if they really wanted to get to it, right? They wanted to give you the bullet points of like what you need to do to get to where you want. Like why you're buying this book. You're buying this book because you want to obtain a skill. You want this skill to change your life and whatever reason you want that to be. So, but to make the books long and to make you feel like the $20 book is worth it, they'll put 200-300 pages. But let's face it, most books, I would say the max 30 pages of what you really need to do and take out all the fluff bullshit, right? So I always thought
I like the books with lots of photos in them.
Right. But I always well, that's another topic, Scott. But don't tell people who you really are.
What are you talking about? I just like picture books.
Hey, it's okay. I'll send you some coloring books. You're not too far away. No, but I always thought okay, if I could condense this book into a 10-page bullet point, do this. You're the expert. I don't want to think. I just want to do. I want to be, Terminator robot mode. Tell me what to do. Obtain it. Do it. And I think what YouTube is doing now is those videos are very lucrative in order to get the newbies or the people that have a short attention span, because it's right to the point. And then over time you're building trust. And then if you do love Scott Herman and you're a diehard Hermanite, then you can watch the long form stuff like podcasts like this or longer videos. But those are for the people that are really into you. The newbies want the short, condensed bullet points. There's actually a guy.
Right. And I'm actually doing that. I'm doing, at least one big video a week, and I'm trying to do 2 or 3 smaller videos, for the exact reason that you just said. So you hit the nail on the head.
There's actually a guy, you've seen him now. His name is Noel Diesel. Daddy Noel. Yeah, that's his on Instagram. It's Noel Diesel _bodybuilder. Anyways, this guy is 1 million followers on Instagram. I don't know how he's not verified yet, but this guy, if you look at his YouTube videos, he has 30 videos. They're 10 to 15 seconds long, and his numbers don't make sense. He has millions of views, and it's all organic, and it's just him. He's this jacked South African guy, and he's just giving you bullet points with really good lighting. It's high production value, but it's short and condensed. And I think it's because people will watch 15 minutes or 15 seconds of it. They'll watch 15 seconds of it. It's bullet point, bam, bam, bam. So he's hammering you down, and then it's over. So then you're like, wait, what did he say again? And you watch it again.
Yep.
So that makes your view count go up. Well, when your view count goes up, the algorithm starts sending it out to people. And I think the best channel at the end of the day to bring this full circle is long form for the diehards that really love you, and then the short term for the newbies.
That was the strategy, and it's hard because coming from, I've had to kind of reshape the way I think about things, because I would watch, other fitness people on TikTok to see what they're doing. And I would see that they would purposely make the bullet points appear and go away so fast that you have to watch the video like 10 times.
Yes. There's a strategy to it. There's a strategy to it.
I mean, my strategy is, if I really want to see what's there, I just record my screen, and then I would just, stop and go, because I'm really smart. But other people, they might not think of that, so they rewatch the video 10 times. Well, now everyone here in this podcast is like, wow, that's a good idea. I'm going to do that from now on, so I can pause the damn video. But I feel like that's dishonest. Like you're literally, being dishonest to get more views. It's like,
when we get off this, Scott, watch this Noel guy.
I will. I'll check him out.
It's quick. He's like ba 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 end, and you're like, wait, what? And you have to watch it 2 or 3 times.
He's just like, bam, here's the information.
It's genius, and he's super jacked, and it's like really good lighting and the production, good quality. It's great. The guy's doing something right. He doesn't even have that many videos, and he has I think he has close to 1 million subscribers now. It's crazy.
Good for him, man.
Guy's crushing it. My favorite guy is Derek from More Plates, More Dates. That guy is my man.
Yeah, I chat with Derek quite often. He's super fun. Derek's so incredibly smart. It's ridiculous. You can ask him any question, when it comes to, testosterone or, steroids or SARMs or whatever. And
the guy's an animal.
He's funny.
I buy all the Gorilla Mind stuff as only supplements I take.
I'm actually supposed to do a collaboration with Derek soon, because I'm going to go get my blood panel done. Not that I want to do TRT or anything. I don't think I need it. I think my levels are fine, but it's interesting to see what they are and have him, over explain it to my community. Be really cool.
Apparently his TRT company in Canada is top,
top
notch.
Well, I mean, a lot of guys reach out to Derek, and a lot of pro athletes who, are trying to compete or whatever, they'll reach out to Derek to make sure that what their coaches are having them do is correct. And Derek, a lot of times they're not.
His stuff is amazing. More Plates, More Dates. I can't recommend it more. His supplements are the best I've ever had in my life. The craziest pumps, and I've seen the biggest growth. I'm natural. I've never taken steroids or anything, Anavar, Tren, bologna sandwiches, nothing, no SARMs, nothing. And I'm 6'2", 250, and I need to cut some fat off. But I mean, just jumping on his supplements, I've put on decent amount of size and no fat. So this stuff is crazy, and his pre-workouts are unreal. So
you're 6'2", 250.
Yeah, I fluctuate from 245 to 250.
Damn, you must have a really big truck or something.
No, Tesla.
Really? You fit inside that?
Yeah, surprisingly. It depends if I do glutes or if I do hamstrings, and I take a lot of glycerol powder from More Plates, More Dates, Gorilla Mind. My ass doesn't fit in the seat, but besides that,
do you have one of the Teslas with the DeLorean doors that come up?
Oh no. We're not on that level yet, Scott. Come on now.
I don't like to assume. I assume you're balling and you got this beautiful background, high balcony,
We're doing good. No, I want to get I put a deposit down for the Cybertruck, so that's my next thing. But being in downtown, there's nowhere to park it. It's $30,000 for a parking spot down here.
Are you serious? Holy crap.
Yeah, so to buy a commercial parking spot, we have 2, and if you want to buy an additional one, it's $25,000 to $30,000. So if I want to park, I got to figure out where I'm going to park the Cybertruck once it comes out. But that's always a conundrum living downtown. So
my wife always gets mad because whenever I take the Camaro out, I'm always parking in the back of the parking lot. I'm like, I do not. If somebody dings my door, I'm going to go to jail. I'm just going to be so pissed.
Freak out. That's a good thing about the Cybertruck. That thing's bulletproof.
Yeah, dude. Oh man, I went to So I went to this place called Pincher Penny. It's where you go for pool supplies.
Pincher Penny. That's OG. That's almost as OG as your fitness videos.
Yeah. So The one that I went to, right? And normally when I go there, I park, in the back part of the parking lot, so I don't want anybody to, ding my doors or whatever. But there was literally nobody there. And this place has like a big sliding door, and there was a parking spot available right in front of it. And there was nobody next to me. I mean, there was nobody in the other two spaces. So I'm like, all right, I'll park there. I'll run in, get my stuff, and run back out. I can literally see my car the whole time, right? So I go in, I get my chemicals. As I'm coming out, this older woman, probably like in her 60s or 70s, pulls in and then like throws her door like right into my fender. And
oh my God.
I don't even like the amount of rage I had to suppress, how I was giving me like an aneurysm or something. I was so mad. And I know I was mad at myself because I'm like, I know I shouldn't have parked here. And so she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I have a hard time getting out of my car." I'm like, "Then why'd you park so close to my car?"
You know what gets me, Scott, is I'll tell you what gets me is when you park a huge parking lot. Like me and my buddies, we typically go to Dave & Buster's every week just because we're grown men that refuse to grow up. We have Peter Pan syndrome.
Awesome.
And we go to Dave & Buster's. So I'll park in the back of the lot, huge parking lot, no one around. And some guy with a big ass freaking lifted truck will park right next to my car. And I'm like, dude, did you see I parked away? And did you see that there's thousands of spots in this lot and you decided to park right next to me? Like, why?
Yeah. You know what I do is I'll like put their windshield wipers up or something when I leave, just so they have to put them down.
Oh my God. It's so bizarre, man. I can't understand this.
One time I got into a rear end collision. I was like 18 and I was stopping at a light and I had an 84 Camaro at the time. And this lady just plowed me again. It was an old lady. Like old ladies like to hit me in my cars. Anyways. So like she destroyed my Camaro. Like she twisted the chassis. Like it was terrible.
Oh my gosh.
And she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot what the brake was." I'm like, "Why are you driving then? You forgot what the brake was. There's only 2 pedals."
Oh my gosh. Jesus Christ. Well, we wish them the best, Scott.
Yeah.
So this guy, right? This Noel dude, this guy is crushing it because they're YouTube shorts. They have the short stamp on it. Each video one has 3.5 million, 1.1 million, 1.3, 1.4. And what's crazy is he has a video that's 2 minutes and 22 seconds and it has 629,000 views. And his little short videos, like this is Dad, It's Leg Day. How long is this? This is like 15 seconds long and has 2.3 million views. The guy doesn't even have that many. He has 58 videos and 1.2 million subscribers.
That's awesome.
Guy's crushing it. So I think the reason why I'm saying this is because I think if you focused a lot on that, just super simple to the point, high production value videos, you're already big, but I think you could get even bigger.
Well, that's actually the plan now. So I went home for a few weeks for my mother's birthday, and then I came back, and I'm like kind of getting like all my ducks in a row. But literally, like starting next week, that's kind of the plan. I've been doing some shorts. I've been editing them, putting them on my channel. I actually have some. I have one I did with my buddy Nick that has like, I don't know, like 8 or 10 million views. But it was like a comedic short, and people like that stuff too. And what I like best about the shorts is it's allowing me to show more of my comedic side,
Yep.
And that's a lot of fun.
Wait, you're not a meathead bodybuilder?
Well, like I am, but I'm also a gamer,
Me and you are very similar in a lot of ways. I look like the pinnacle of Meathead Nation, but I have like the Watchmen statues around, and I have the Infinity Gauntlet. My girl, she gets furious because she's like, "Aren't you like 30 years old?"
You should be like, you know what I say to people when they're like, "You watch anime?" I'm like, anime is like a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? You think it's run by kids?
Exactly.
The kids run. If I could move my camera up, you would see all of my pops that go around the top of my room.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
I collect only Dragon Ball Z pops, and I have every single one of them, and I'm very proud of my collection.
Yeah. We just don't want to grow. We don't want to grow up. I told her, I was like, one of the main reasons why I want to have a kid is so I have an excuse to go to Chuck E. Cheese. By the way, Chuck E. Cheese, best pizza, most underrated pizza. Chuck E. Cheese
does have good pizza.
No, most underrated pizza by far.
I saw on the news, I think it was actually somewhere in Florida, but like this Chuck E. Cheese lost their liquor license for whatever reason. And all the
Wait, they sold
parents,
alcohol?
like beer, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of parents were complaining, and like the dads were like, "That's the only way I can get through Chuck E. Cheese is with beer." With all these kids
Lame-ass
screaming in my
dads.
face. I know, right?
I mean, I'm a grown man. I go to Dave and Buster's once a week, so there's
Dude, Dave
that.
and Buster's is a lot of fun, dude.
I go to the one in Orlando all the time. Next time I'm out there, I'll hit you up.
Yeah, I would totally go.
Yep. I don't know.
I like playing Time Crisis. Those are the most. That's like the most fun gun game. Yeah.
I like playing the basketball, the arcade hoops, and air hockey, and like the physical stuff. But I do like obviously all of them too. So yeah, we'll have a round and then we'll film it. We'll put it on the short.
Yeah, we'll put it on the short. If we play air hockey, let me ask you a question. When you play air hockey, how many times does the puck fly off of the table?
A lot,
yeah. Right? Like I feel like I'm gonna wing a kid in like the side of his head or something.
Oh, I've hit people in the back of the head and all these things. I have to. Some people are like, oh, it's fine. Some people give me dirty looks, but yeah, no, I'll just. Well, initially I'll try to meathead it and just manhandle it. Boom, it flies off, and then afterwards I'll be like, okay, well, you
gotta hit the sides. You gotta hit the sides. So yeah, you gotta bounce it left and right to confuse them.
Sometimes I just like the straight shooter, like the fucking rocket blaster right up the gut.
Yeah, because it makes a cool noise. It's like bam. You're like
boom, yeah, like throwing a 99-mile-an-hour fastball.
I like catching the puck with the handle, like coming straight down on it.
Oh yeah, you like fucking Hulk smash it.
Yeah, Hulk smash it. And
where are you going now, bitch? Oh man, if you stomp someone out on air hockey, that's it. You won. Psychologically, you won. That guy is going to be timid, or girl is going to be timid for the rest of the match.
Did you know those games where you can win a prize? There's one at Universal I always try to win. I never do it. And it's like a key and you have to stop it at the exact right point. And then it goes in a little hole, but it barely fits in the little hole.
Oh, yes.
Oh my, I still have yet to win one of those. I've gotten close a few times, but like at Universal, it's like you get a PS5 or an Xbox One if you win or a Nintendo Switch. So I'm like, all right, I'll try 5 times and I'm done. You know,
you're like, I've spent $13,000 trying to win an Xbox when I could have bought 13,000 of them.
It's true, right? But it's like that competitive spirit. Like, no, I want to win it. I don't want to just go buy it.
Oh yeah, when I was a kid, this is showing my age, but I used to go to Walmart and they used to have that stupid ass game that you would hit the button and it would go around in like a rectangle with the red squares and you would have to hit it on the thing, and they would have all these South Park like stuffed animals. And I used to want to get Cartman because he was my favorite. Yeah. And it used to go and I used to hit it and it would like skip over one. I would get so mad. My mom would be like, okay, let's go. And I was like, no, come on. We'd spend $10 every time I went to Walmart.
But that's the fun of it. Speaking of South Park, they just signed like a $900 million deal to do like
incredible, man,
movies and everything up through like 2027 or something like that.
It's so crazy because like Comedy Central has so much censorship, but they don't tell South Park anything. They're like, yeah, you guys are good.
Dude, you cannot like. I think people have just come to realize that South Park can do whatever they want. They can say whatever they want, do whatever they want. And if you get mad, they'll just make fun of you. Like when Tom Cruise got mad and, just, I'm not a fudge packer. Remember that episode?
Yes. South Park, man, those guys are genius. Oh,
well, dude, when Chef left to go to Scientology and threw a shit fit, they just took voiceover excerpts from all the previous episodes to make another episode with Chef.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, they don't care.
South Park is undefeated, man. Those guys cannot lose. I actually like basketball. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, basketball was funny.
Yeah. Oh my God, those guys are incredible. So I want to ask you on a more serious note. We're getting serious here on the Justin Caviar Show. Not really serious, but what do you see with your clients, with other fitness influencers, and this could be just straight up, physical goals, physiological performance, or straight up financial, like business and growth. What's the biggest differentiating factor you see from the people that succeed in all these things versus the people that fail?
I think that one of the biggest things is obviously you have to be constantly reinventing yourself, right? When, I mean, this goes for any industry. If you have like one thing that's your niche, as soon as people are kind of moved on from that thing and you haven't reinvented yourself, you kind of fall behind and get left behind, you know, and
Right.
kind of going back to, you know, what you said earlier about, you know, how do you make another chest video, another bench video? Even when it comes to content like that, it's like, okay, you know, the original video was how to bench press. And then, you know, okay, I need to try to reach some of my newer audience who maybe haven't seen that video. So, okay, now we're going to do how to bench press, 3 golden rules. Like these are the 3 things you have to keep in mind when doing it to do it correctly. And then it's like, okay, now some more time has gone by. I want to make another chest video. Okay. So now I have some new people and I have people who've already seen those videos. How do I stay relevant and get them to watch my another video on bench pressing? Well, okay. Yeah. These are the exercises and sets and rep ranges you want to be in to hit like this specific goal. Or, hey, you're stuck in a plateau. This is how you can bench with this tempo in order to bust through your plateau or do a cheat rep. And you start introducing like different training techniques around some of that content you've already made. That's how you can stay relevant fitness wise. But the other thing is, okay, like TikTok has come out, Instagram Reels have come out, and now YouTube Shorts have come out. You can't be so stuck in your own head that like, okay, I've been successful. I've been around for a while, so I know what I'm doing. You have to watch other people. You have to see what other people are doing. And you have to, you know, not be on such a high horse that you think only the content you create is good enough for your channel. Like you have to see what other people are doing to get ideas. And that's why trends do so well on like TikTok. My wife has a TikTok channel that does very well. She has like almost 500,000 followers and she does fashion. And so she'll, you know, see what trends are going on and then she'll follow those trends and have, you know, then have some of her own ideas. Kind of like what you said earlier, you know, people will see the short videos and then the people who really like you will watch the longer ones, right? So you have to be able to adapt and you have to also not be afraid to showcase some of your other passions as well. I'm actually starting to do more like streaming of my gaming on my other YouTube channel. There's nothing wrong with having multiple channels and promoting those things as well, because I always notice when I stream on my gaming channel, it's a much younger audience. And then a lot of those people see that I have a fitness channel and they want to get into fitness and, you know, they kind of help each other out. So you have to just be open to new ideas. You can't just get stuck in the same, you know, routine year after year after year, because you will get left behind.
Right. Yeah. What were some of the people that when you were starting up and getting big that were big at the time that now are completely irrelevant?
Oh man.
Well, you don't have to say their name, but like, what do you think that they did that made them irrelevant in the long run?
I feel like one of the biggest things that makes some people irrelevant in the fitness space is if they start doing it when they're young and they do it, you know, I mean, there's nothing wrong if you want to jump on, you know, steroids or whatever, and you want to go into that route. But I feel like a lot of these young kids right now on TikTok, they're just not even putting in the work and they're just jumping on SARMs and they're seeing instant gains and they're kind of building up that kind of fame. And I feel like that their knowledge base is really limited because they haven't really had to fight to obtain what they have now. It was kind of, I mean, how can I word this the way I'm trying to? When you start a business and you struggle and you start exercising and you have to struggle through, like, for example, being a natural athlete, and you know this because you're natural, when I hit a plateau and I can't grow anymore, I have to figure out why that happened. And then I have to figure out a way over that plateau. And so that's kind of helped me with a lot of the videos that I've made. That's why I can come up with different topics on exercises, because it's like, okay, I trained this way for a certain period of time. I hit a plateau. I had to make a change. Now I train this way. And then I use that for content. People that I've seen kind of anything that rises really fast tends to drop really fast. And that's what part of being in a niche is, right? When you're in a niche and you only stick to that niche, once you've kind of exhausted the content you can create for that, it goes away. And so nowadays what I'm seeing is there's not so much like importance placed on how smart you are and how much knowledge you have. It's more placed on looks. So you see a lot of these young guys that look phenomenal, but they're basically just putting out really terrible workout advice because, you know, you can only post a bench press and a curl so many times. So it's like, okay, I need content this week. I already had bicep curl my last video. So in this video, I'm going to make up a new curl, a new kind of exercise. And then I'm going to have people do that. And they're going to believe me because I look a certain way. And I feel like that's making a lot of people lose credibility.
Go ahead. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, sorry.
And especially when it comes to things like, you know, circuit training, right? Like for circuit training, there's a specific way you want to put out your exercises so that people can actually do them and do them in an order that's going to make sense. But if you're putting a circuit training video out every single day and you're not really, you know, doing any extra research to find new exercise ideas, you start just kind of throwing together all these random exercises that don't really make sense. And then the person watching is trusting you because they don't know better. And then they do that circuit and they're realizing like, I can't even make it through it because I'm doing, you know, 4 upper body exercises in a row. My shoulders are toast. Right.
Right.
So the number one thing holding people back from longevity is you have to always be doing research. You have to always be furthering your own knowledge base.
Yeah, it's hard, right? With the natty game, it's a hard thing to stay on top. You have to keep reinventing, and once you hit that plateau, you got to keep going. Speaking of natty, Derek, for more plates, more dates, send me some goddamn Terkesterone, all right? This shit sells out in 30 fucking seconds. It's so crazy.
Oh, really?
Have you ever tried that stuff?
No, I haven't tried it.
Well, because you know him, you should message him and be like, hey, man, I heard the Terkesterone stuff is on another level. He'll probably send you some.
Oh, yeah. I'll reach out to him.
Yeah.
What have you noticed from it?
Just strength gain and just lean muscle mass.
Really?
Yeah. The way he explains it is it's like a very, very low dose of Anavar, but it doesn't affect your testosterone or your blood lipids or anything.
Oh, wow.
So you might not be a good responder to it. There's they're called ecdysterones, and there's Terkesterone, and I think it's Terkesterone or something. It's the other one. It's a different form. It's like in quinoa and spinach. Basically, not to get into science class here, but it's plants make it like quinoa and spinach. They make it because what happens is it turns a caterpillar into a butterfly faster. It creates this hormonal response. So that's the plant's defense mechanism. So the caterpillars don't eat them, because they know if they eat them, that the plant will give this hormonal response. And the hormonal response evolves them into a butterfly much faster. So it's basically like estrogen sterone, and they're called ecdysterone. So how that translates to humans is basically, instead of hitting the androgen receptor like testosterone and trenbolone and androlone and all these other typical androgenic drugs, this is an estrogen drug that has no effect on your testosterone levels as of now. So
that's interesting.
Yeah. And you're still natty. So you can still be the natty king.
You know, and that's the big thing, right? Is wanting to maintain that natty status. For me, you know, I have friends that do steroids, obviously. You know, I don't care. It's your choice, your body, do whatever you want. Yeah, we all do. Who cares? As long as you're doing it correctly and safely, you know, that's the only concern I'll have. I'll be like, hey man, like I don't want you to die. Make sure you're get your blood work done and you're doing this the right way.
Yep.
But for me, I mean, like a lot of people ask me, how come you're not getting bigger? I'm like, I'm 5'10", 190 pounds. I fit in my clothes. You know, I have suits that I don't want to outgrow. I want to be able to wear when I go out, like do the fancy things. I like the size that I'm at. There's nothing wrong with liking, you know, the level that you're at. And I feel like that gets lost, especially with social media. We're always looking for better. And it's like, I look great. I don't think I look 37 years old. You know, I kind of want to.
You don't.
I want to keep that. You know, I want to stay as young as possible, as long as I can. You know, but I mean, the only thing that's bothering me getting older is like injuries. You know, like I'm starting to get some injuries that are a little irritating. When I moved down to Florida, I couldn't really train the way I wanted to for a few years because we were building the house and we were building the pool. And as you know, if I'm living in Florida, finding contractors down here that actually do their work is extremely hard to do. So like between the stress of making sure things were getting done, having to literally be the foreman, you know, down here to make sure things are getting done correctly, I lost a lot of time. And over the last like 9 months, I've been finally like on a really good regimen, a really good routine of going to the gym. And I probably pushed myself too hard, too fast, because I remembered what I used to do. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to do that now. And like, I'm getting I got like a shoulder injury. I got, right now I'm dealing with like some tightness in my forearms that makes it like hurt like crazy when I do bicep curls. And I'm like constantly massaging, and I'm learning all these like new little tricks to try to like get my muscles to not be so tight, you know?
All these things.
Dude, it's terrible.
So crazy. Scott, give me 1 second. The maids are actually here, and bad timing. I'll be back in 1 second. All right, 1 second.
Yeah.
Toyota, tell me how in the fucking hell I'm supposed to get this fucking motor for them fucking motor mount.
All right. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries.
Sorry. I didn't want them wait outside because there's a lot more shit I want to ask you.
So you actually call your wife the maid and she doesn't get mad?
Yeah. There's a whole group of it's cool, man. These we got this new maid service, and there's like a whole group of them. There's like they come like 6 at a time, and they just power through it. It takes like 10 minutes. It's great.
Oh my God, right? How do they get the house? Like they'll do this, they'll clean the same exact things you clean, and it looks 10 times better. My wife, one of her friends does a maid service, and we'll have her come like once a month to do a better job than us. And she's in and out of here in like an hour. I'm like, how did you clean all this stuff so fast? I'm like, here's your money. Take it. Here's a tip.
That's incredible, man. So we got the fitness thing going. So explain to people about your programs and your coaching service.
Okay. So I do online coaching as well. I try to only have a handful of clients at a time. That way I can make sure I have enough time for my clients. And the way I do my online coaching is really cool. So because I have my own gym in my house, whenever I start working with somebody new, we'll spend a lot of time in our first session. I usually do it through Skype. That way I can have video and my microphone, and I can have my earpiece in, and I can move my camera around the camera stand. But when I build out programs, I then am able to take the time to go over proper form for all the exercises, right?
Right.
And so some of my clients I had, they're either they're new to fitness, or they've been training for a while, or maybe they've been training for a while, but they want to hit a certain goal. And there's always little tweaks you can make to exercise form and execution to help them, put on extra weight. Like for example, I was working with one of my clients yesterday, and once we build out programs and go over everything, I actually have them film themselves doing like one set of every exercise, so I can see how their body's responding while they're lifting weight. And I have them, I'm like, hey, make sure you film a set where you're lifting, heavy weight for 6 to 8 reps, whatever the program is. One of my clients yesterday sent me a video of him bench pressing, and he's like, yeah, I'm having a really hard time bench pressing. I'm stuck with the weight that I'm lifting. And he sends me the video, and we're watching it together, and immediately I can see his upper body is like super unstable. And I look at his feet, and he has his feet like together in front of the bench. So he doesn't have a base, for his feet. And I'm like, hey, this is what we need to fix. We're going to get your feet wider. We're going to create a stable stance. And then, once again, go over proper form. Hey, make sure you're pushing your knees out. Make sure you're slightly arching your back. Keep your core tight. So it's a really good one-on-one experience I can have with my clients, especially only having like a handful of them, And one of the things I teach the most is making micro adjustments week to week. So I've had clients come to me where, they bought a program online, and kind of getting back to what you were talking about earlier, when you buy a book and there's like 300 pages, but only 30 pages are actually what you need.
Yes.
So I've had clients, say, hey, I spent, all this money, got this online program, and it was like 50 pages long, and I didn't understand half of what was in the book. And, when it came time to getting actual advice and tips and help with the program, it was just an automated email response that was getting back to me. And, to me, that's just not helpful, right? If anything, it's going to push them away from fitness because they're going to get frustrated. So when I work with my clients, I do it on a month-to-month basis. And at the end of each week, we go over the workout program. Like, hey, how long did each workout take you? Did it fit within the time restraints that you had? Was it too easy? Was it too hard? Were there any exercises you couldn't do? And then one of the biggest things that I do is micro adjustments to the meal plan. And I'm sure you can attest to this, being in the fitness space and talking to people. A lot of people get scared when it comes to nutrition. Like they think, they're going to have to change everything that they eat in order to hit their goal. And a lot of times, or 99% of the times, it's not that. It's most of the time my clients are not eating enough food. And I explained to them like, hey, you're supposed to be eating around, let's say 2,000 calories in order to maintain where you're at right now. And if we want to build muscle, we need to eat a little more than that. But you're only eating like 1,000. Like you think you're eating a lot, but we add it all up in my meal planner. I'm like, you're only eating 1,000 calories. And so I don't just put them on a 2,000 calorie diet or a 2,500 calorie diet from that 1,000 they're eating now. Right. I explain like we need to get your body used to eating more food. So every week we'll bump up the calories by 200 to 300, depending on how they're feeling, until we get to that goal of being able to eat 2,000 or 2,500 calories and not feel comatose after eating all that food. Right.
Right.
And so by doing this process like this, what I'm able to actually do is pour a vast amount of knowledge into my clients. So by the end of the first month or second month, they can go off and do this on their own. And I tell them like, listen, my goal isn't to have you as a client forever. My goal is to pour as much knowledge into you as I can. And then when you want to learn more, then you can come back because, there's many different ways to train. So depending on their goal, how much time they have in the gym, the program I'll put them on will be like a full body, an upper or a lower, a push-pull legs. And then I have, a traditional bro split as well, where you're doing 2 body parts a week. And then I have advanced training techniques like cheat and recover, where I incorporate a lot of like forced reps or drop sets. And so I always try to get my clients to a point where they can do things on their own. And then when they're ready to learn more, then they come back.
Gotcha. And then do you have like one-on-one training, or do you have like do you have a Facebook group? So, a membership site, software?
So my website is muscularstrength.com. I actually have an app update coming out this week, which is going to get my forums on the app, which I'm really excited about. But on my website, you can sign up. You can try it for 7 days free just by trying it. And it's only $10 a month. But what I did was put all of my programs. I have 8 12-week programs on there where you can literally download the program, download the PDF. There's videos for every single workout. There's descriptions for every single exercise. And you also get access to my custom meal planner as well, which once you enter in your information, like your height, your weight, your age, your goal, it spits out like thousands of meal plans to choose from. It's basically like a higher end version of MyFitnessPal. Nice. And my goal with the website, so this is the site that used to be scotthermanfitness.com when I first started, and I changed the name to Muscular Strength to make it a bit more streamlined because I have other trainers that submit content as well. And it's also a social media site. So when you sign up for the website, you actually have a profile, you have a board, you can upload photos, you can friend request people, and you can chat in the forums too. But the biggest part of the site is you get access to all of my programs, all my full 12-week programs, but then you also get access to my exercise database where all those videos that I created 10 years ago, all those how-to videos, even the ones I've created recently, they're all organized on my site by body part and also by beginner, intermediate, or advanced level. So if you're like, oh, I really want to try a new bicep exercise it's a little more difficult, you go to the body diagram, you click on biceps, all the bicep exercises pop up. You click advanced, all the advanced bicep exercises show up. It's really cool.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And then so you do fitness, you have your fitness stuff and your coaching, online coaching, and do you have anything else going on?
Well, I got my crypto gains going on.
Besides besides the crypto stuff, any other stuff that people can like give you money?
Well, they can watch me on my other YouTube channel, Older Humanity. I'm going to be doing a lot more gaming streaming on there.
Do you have a Twitch account?
Yeah. So Twitch and YouTube, it's they're both Older Humanity.
Okay.
And And the software that I use to stream is called Streamlabs. So it lets me stream to both of those at the same exact time. So in my room right now, my man cave, I actually have a monitor right here that I game on, and then a TV up here where I put all of my chats to make sure I don't miss anything from anybody. It's really fun.
Damn, you got the back cave, man.
Yeah, well, you know, when people see my setup, they're like, "How'd you set all that up?" I'm like, you know, I don't just lift things up and put them down. Like, I do know how to work with electronics.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would be surprised that you're not just a gym meathead.
Well, on my Instagram, I always post stories when I'm doing work around the house. And I'll notice like I'll get a huge uptick in views on those because, you know, they see the fitness stuff all the time, you know, then they see me installing like a network server. They're like, how the hell do you even know how to do that? Or installing like, you know, when I first moved into my house, I did a whole thing on installing like my security cameras, you know, around and how to connect power over Ethernet cords. And I actually built a huge server in my laundry room that connects to all the Ethernet ports in my house. And they're like, what? How are you doing all of this? I'm like, you need to be self-sufficient. Like, you know, if you're big and strong, you can mow the lawn and you know, cut the bushes and stuff. But what about all the internals in the house? You gotta know how to do that stuff too.
Exactly. You got to have the brains with the brawn, right?
I think so.
That's crazy. When did you move to Florida? Because you came from Massachusetts, right?
Yep. So I lived like right on the border of Massachusetts. So I grew up, my father lived in Mass and my mother lived in New Hampshire, but it was like 10 minutes apart from each other. It's like right on the border. So my wife and I had a home in New Hampshire. We lived there for like 3 years together. And I actually had a separate studio for my gym too. And that's where I was going and filming all of my videos. If you look at my videos from like 3 or 4 years ago, I was in a bigger space, and that was the studio that I was renting. And it just kind of got to a point where my wife is Brazilian, and she's like, I can't deal with the winter anymore. I'm getting sick and tired of it. And then even for me, like when I would go film a 20-minute video, it'd take me 2 hours, 3 hours, because I'd have to drive to the studio, unload all my stuff, heat the place if it was cold, shovel the driveway if it had snowed, you know, and it was just becoming this like monumental task to get more content done. And so my wife's like, I want to move to Florida. And I said, well, we can move to Florida if we find a house that I can build my gym inside of. And so we came down here looking for houses and, you know, different floor plans. And the floor plan for this house just worked out so perfectly that one of the garages lines up with like that dining room that you never use, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
And this house had like 2 of those. So I'm like, well, we don't need that one. So I literally built the house, demolished that wall, and expanded the space. So it's like a 30 by 20 foot space. And it fit all of my gym equipment in there that I had in that place that I was renting. And now if I want to work out or film a video, I just, you know, get up and walk into the garage. It's air conditioned and everything is right there. So the majority of videos you see now is in my personal gym in my house. And it made life so much easier. Like quality of life down here. I mean, it's always sunny. If it rains a little bit and then it's done. You know, you live in Florida, so you know. And living in Orlando, there's just so much to do. I mean, you get an annual pass for, you know, for Universal and Island of Adventure. It's like $35 a month, whenever you want. If you want to go just ride the Hulk roller coaster and then go home, you can do that. You know, just roll up, park your car, go in, ride the roller coaster, go home. Who cares?
Is that why you picked Orlando?
Yeah. Well, because my wife originally wanted to go to Miami. And I was like, listen, I lived in New York City for almost 2 years. I'm all set with the city life. I want to have space. I want to be able to like relax, you know? Mm-hmm. And even dude, in Miami, the parking spaces are they're like narrower. I don't know how people drive trucks down there.
Miami is a different animal, man. That's so chaotic. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's very chaotic. It is not my scene at all. Plus, like I did the party thing. I did the ultimate party thing. Like I was on a reality show in New York City, getting VIP club access like literally every single day for a year. It just gets old. Like, you don't care anymore. Like you can only have so much vodka and Red Bull before you want to just never have it ever again.
Yeah, no, for sure. Partying is just like Oof. I don't know because when you're younger, you want it so bad. You want to fit in. You want to look cool. You want to show off, and you know, and if you're single, obviously, you want to attract the opposite sex, and that's like all your mentality is. But as you get older, you start to really identify why are we really here, and what are you really into, and it's funny because after all that stuff is done, and I think this comes with age. I think it comes when you meet someone and you settle down with them, that you start to realize like, wow, I used to do everything just to inflate my ego.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, my wife and daughter, you know, they're like, how come you never want to go to the beach? I'm like, because I'm married. I go, I only went to the beach to pick up chicks. Like, I don't like laying on the sand. Like, it's boring.
Yeah. And you got to watch out for skin cancer down here, man.
Oh my God, dude. I'm very stubborn and I get sunburned all the time because I'm only going outside for a few hours and then I come in and I'm a lobster and I'm like, now I'm gonna peel and look weird.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you got to be careful with that, man. The sun down here is it's dangerous. It's rough.
You know what I got that I really like having is I bought one of those one wheels. Have you seen those?
Oh yeah.
So I got one of those and I literally just got it to get my mail because in my community, the mailbox is at the front and I got sick and tired of walking for like 20 minutes just to get my mail and come back. And I didn't want to drive.
Sweating. You're sweating within 3 seconds.
And I can't even take my dog because he's a small Maltese. And if he's outside like midday for more than 15 minutes, he's ready to just die. Yeah. So I'd end up I'd take him to the mail to get mail and like I'd have to carry him home because he's just like dead. But now I have my one wheel. He likes going for rides. It's like almost like being in the car for him. So I get on, I hold him, and we go to the mailbox together, and the wind's like hitting him in the face. It was like 16 miles an hour. Dude, you should get one.
Zoom in.
Dude, it's so fun. I mean, when you fall off, it sucks. Actually, I got a scar right here. You see? I fell off. Oh my
gosh. I'm gonna buy you some elbow pads and send them to you.
I got them after I fell.
Yeah, we just use bird scooters around here because I live in downtown and we like the gym is a 8-minute walk, but sometimes if I'm too lazy, I'll jump on the bird scooter, go there, and then I'll walk back. Depends on how much I talk on the way out, and then I'm like, oh shit, I got to get my post workout shake in. Gorilla mode post workout. Shout out to Gorilla Mine. Yeah, it's interesting, man. Florida's great. Orlando is awesome too. Anywhere south, anything north of Miami, in between Miami to Orlando is perfect. And then the west coast of Florida, Naples is nice because it's really rich. It's beautiful. It's peaceful. And for older people, it makes sense because after 10 o'clock, there's nothing. It's a ghost town.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice too because everybody wants to go to Florida. So like my family, like, oh, we're going to come down and visit. And, like, it's so much nicer for me because then I don't have to interrupt my schedule. They can come down. They can stay in the guest room. We can hang out, but like I don't have to fly. I don't have to drive anywhere. You know, family usually wants to come down here, which when you're a creator, it's tough. Like when I was home, you know, visiting my mom for her 50th birthday party, like it was 2 weeks. I didn't really have any place to film. You know, I didn't really have all my editing equipment. I mean, I brought my camera to do some stuff, but you know, you have to like, if you're going to travel, you have to
bank those episodes.
Yeah. You have to bank them. You have to, or else you won't be able to get anything done.
Yeah. You have to go all out and film as much as possible and then just stack them. And then you can go on a 2-week trip, but you're never missing it because you know how it is. Momentum is key in this game.
Yeah. And then people tell you to get a real job. Like, oh, your job's easy.
Yeah. If you think it's easy, start a fitness YouTube channel and see what happens.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I mean, and with fitness YouTube, I feel like fitness is one of the hardest ones because you also have to keep up your like how you look, right?
Yes.
You know, other types of channels, vlogging, whatever, like, hey, maybe you want to look good, but like fitness YouTube, as soon as you start to look a little smaller or your abs start to, you know, maybe you had like an off week and your abs aren't showing as well. Gee, people are just like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Doesn't even have a 6-pack. This
guy sucks. He needs to get on some Terkesterone.
Yeah. Oh, you know, like you film a video and the lighting's a little off and it makes you look a little flat. Like this guy lost all of his gains.
You don't have any down lighting. The down lighting is where it's at. So crucial to every picture. Every picture needs down lighting.
Yeah, man, it's really funny.
That's awesome, man. So we talked about fitness. Now, where does Scott Herman see himself moving forward, right? Are you going to be doing fitness forever, or are you getting into other spaces?
So, I love doing what I do. I love helping people. I love making my content. Where I see myself going forward from here is I'm starting to realize that I had focused so much on fitness that it was not that I mind it becoming my life, but I do have other passions. Like I do love like my gaming, and I do love interacting in that community. Before COVID hit, I was actually starting to like cosplay and go to comic. Like I went to Kamea Con.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
have
awesome.
I have like a really legit Broly costume that
Oh
I
my
wore.
God.
Oh, dude, it's like
You got the hair?
oh yeah. Actually, I'll show you the hair. Hold on one second.
Okay.
I have it right up here. I actually had this guy. I'll take a second. Ugh. Here's the hair right here.
Oh snap!
Yeah, dude. This costume is legit. I had a professional make it for me. But like,
Oh my gosh!
it's hard to do everything you want to do if you're just focusing on fitness. And I feel like it makes you more relatable as a person. Like when I meet people, at these events that I do, fitness shows before they were canceled, it's nice to be able to talk to them about fitness. And then like they'll be wearing like a Naruto shirt, I'm like, oh, I watched Naruto. And they're like, oh, I had no idea you liked anime. And it's just, I like connecting with people, and I'm realizing that like I can connect even more if I start talking about my other passions. And that's probably why, like, for example, when on my Instagram, when, I'm working on my car, like I was replacing all the wheel bearings on my Scion the other day, and I was posting those stories on Instagram, and people were like, oh, I had no idea you knew how to do that. Like I had to do that the other day or whatever. And
what? You're a mechanic too? I thought all you did was curls.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like, they're more willing to actually listen to like my fitness advice if they see that I'm well versed in other things as well. It makes you more trustworthy to them. Like, okay, this guy obviously takes the time to learn as much as he can. And with fitness, there's always new things to learn. Like, for example, last year I did a whole series on nuclei overload training. I don't know if you watched those videos, but basically it was around the concept that if you train, the same muscle group every single day, you can actually spark more nuclei growth. And then if you take time off, like don't do any sort of exercising for 7 to 14 days, you can make your body sensitive to muscle damage again. And then when you start training again, you can actually spark more nuclei, right? More myonuclei to grow within the muscle. And it's like, when I dive deep into concepts like these, I really enjoy that. But I enjoy diving deep into like any interest that I have. Like we were talking earlier today about, crypto. I'm actually going to start doing crypto videos and live streams on my gaming channel. Well, I say my gaming channel, but the channel is called Oh the Hermanity, and I created it to basically house all my other interests, because I don't want to flood my fitness channel with things that aren't fitness, because it doesn't always go over that well,
Right.
And even on my Oh the Hermanity channel, I mean, I have videos of me doing installs on cars or stuff around the house. I have a video on there. You should watch it. It's pretty crazy. I built a custom closet for my wife in my old house in New Hampshire. And I mean, this thing came out like you would think it was done by like a professional company, came in here, and I did it with like, wood I bought at friggin' Home Depot.
Really?
It came out really good.
It's on your channel?
Yeah,
it's on my channel?
No, it's on Oh the Hermanity.
Okay. I'm going to check that out for sure.
But so right now, like obviously I'm super into fitness, but I'm also now getting super into the crypto scene. And when I was in college, I always really like, I'm really good with math. So I really liked the stock market. I liked reading the charts and trying to figure out trends. And I'm noticing like I'm starting to have a lot more fun with my fitness content, because I'm also now starting to have a lot more fun with things that aren't fitness, where before I felt like I was just only focusing on fitness all the time.
Fitness. You're just beating the dead horse.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, but when you're doing other things, I feel like it helps you start to be more creative. And then that comes back to, when I'm being more creative or researching my crypto stuff, It's kind of like gives my brain a break from thinking about fitness. And then when I go back to fitness, it's almost like I'm looking at it with fresh eyes, right?
Right.
So I plan on just kind of expanding more on my other interests on my Oh the Hermanity YouTube channel, and then have those kind of like boost each other up in terms of like overall growth.
Yeah. Have you seen anyone that you've gotten from maybe your gaming channel that wasn't into fitness and then saw you and you sparked an interest and now is actually like committed to going to the gym?
Oh yeah. So I have a game I play on my phone called Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. It's like a rotation based Dragon Ball Z game where this game is insane. I mean, there's like 350 million downloads. It's like one of the most downloaded mobile games. I'm sure some of the people listening here might even play it, especially if you're into Dragon Ball Z. But anyways, that audience is a wide range of like young kids to like, people my age and in between. And a lot of times, I'll just casually mention fitness stuff and they'll be like, oh, you have a fitness channel. And in the chat, I'll be like, yeah, here's my fitness channel. And they go there. They're like, oh my God, you have 2.5 million subscribers. That's crazy. They're like, I'm trying to get into fitness. Where should I start? And in the chat, I'll give them a workout program or something, or a link to one on my website. And I've noticed that, yeah, they do start taking fitness very seriously. And,
Yep.
Back in the day, it's almost like, a jock wasn't into nerdy things. And I think that they get excited when they see, a nerdy person that's into fitness. And there's a lot, there's a lot of that. Like, for example, when I went to KamehamehaCon dressed up as Broly, I'm interacting with people, talking to people. And at first, they just thought that I was like some fitness dude who looked good shirtless. That's the only reason why I picked that costume, right? Like, just like that, they thought that I knew nothing about anime. And then we start talking about, these animes that most people probably would have never watched because, they don't dive deep into Crunchyroll like I do, trying to find new stuff to watch all the time. And I'm having these conversations about all these random animes that, most people haven't seen. They're like, wow, you actually are into anime. You're not just like some guy dressing up for fun. I'm like, yeah, man. Like, stop judging me because of how I look. Dude, can I tell you a funny story?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So this is really funny. So I was dressed up as Broly, and I met this guy, and he was dressed up as Goku Black, right? His name is Will. So Goku Black, for those of you who like don't know what the heck I'm talking about, there's a character in Dragon Ball Z called Goku, and in one of the storylines, his body gets taken over by somebody else, and his name is Goku Black. So he's not Goku Black because he is black. That's just his name. But my friend was black, who was dressed up as Goku Black. So anyways, this plays into the story. So we're walking around, and his costume was like really cool. He had like Goku Black's laser sword hand, and I had my Broly. We're like taking photos of everybody, right? And so we're walking around the convention. We actually became really good friends quite quickly because of our love for anime. So we're walking, and there's a group of people, and everyone in the group is black, and they're all dressed up as like all the other characters in Dragon Ball Z, and they did not have a Goku Black to join them. So they asked my friend Will to take the picture. He looks right at me, and he goes, hold on a second, colonizer. I got to go take a photo with these people. He's like, you can't come. I was like, all right.
Like, damn, it's like that shit.
Yeah. I was like, do you want me to at least take the photo? God, do you want me to leave? It's like, it was really funny.
Oh man. How often do you go to those conventions?
I mean, I actually just took my daughter to MegaCon 2 weeks ago. It was her first convention, and she wasn't sure. Like at first, I'm like, "Hey, you want to go to MegaCon with me?" Because my wife was out of town. She's like, "I don't know," and she loves superheroes and all that stuff. And I'm like, "It's different than you think. It's not just like nerdy dudes walking around like talking about Star Trek. Okay, like it's really
sounds
cool."
awesome.
Yeah. So I convinced her to go, and she ended up having a really good time. And one of my neighbors actually had press passes, and he gave us a press pass. And then we went to do you know Michael Rooker? He plays Yondu, right? In Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
The blue guy.
Yeah.
So,
with the mohawk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we actually went, he had a speaking panel. And so I took her to see him speak, and he actually does an incredible job. He doesn't just like stay on the stage. He like gets off the stage and like talks to random people, and you know, he'll like, hey, do you have a question for me? He's like, come on, ask me a question, you know, and he puts people on the spot. She had a really good time. Now she's excited to go to another one as soon as one comes back to Orlando.
That's awesome.
There's actually a supernatural convention I'm going to go to with my sister, I think, next year. It was canceled because of COVID. I'm a huge supernatural fan. So is my sister. So we're going to go to that together.
That's awesome. Well, when is there the next convention in Orlando or this area?
That I am not sure. I thought the supernatural one was supposed to be again. It was supposed to be last September, and then it got canceled. I thought it was going to be this September, but I haven't looked it up. We
had a Comic-Con here. I think it was a couple months ago. It was like almost 2 months ago. Yeah, it was pretty cool. In the Tampa Bay Convention Center. Yeah, right there. Oh, wait, right there. Yeah, man. That's awesome. So, okay, so you got your fitness stuff. You're doing your gaming. Anything else? Are you starting any other businesses? A home improvement business? Maybe a pottery business? A painting company? Anything else on the horizon in the future?
Oh, man.
Where's Scott Herman in 10 years?
In 10 years, I'm going to be retired because I'm going to be crypto rich and my website's going to be pumping. So I'm pretty excited about that. Well, so actually, so I have an update coming out for my app and my website, but I'm actually in the process of creating a routine creator within my app that's going to allow people, because with people having to be home and not go to the gym because of lockdowns and everything, it's really kind of brought up this huge demand for at-home workouts. And a lot of people who were going to the gym are actually still working out from home because they got used to it, right? Yeah. And obviously, when you're working out at home and you're limited with equipment, maybe you have some dumbbells, not a lot of weight, not a lot of things to work with, it gets boring doing the same thing over and over again. So I'm actually in the process, I've been working on this for a little bit now, of creating a program within my app that you're basically at the push of like one click, it's going to be able to randomly generate, you know, exercise routines that you can do at home, depending on what equipment you have available to you.
Right.
And along the lines of, you know, things that make sense. So I don't want to give too much away because I don't want anybody to, you know, take my idea. But like, for example, you know, if you're doing at home full body workout and let's say you get like 10 exercises, right? And the first exercise is a burpee. And you're like, well, I can't do a burpee for 30 seconds. The way the program is going to be created is you're going to actually be able to go into it. And if you're like, okay, I can't do this exercise, it's going to offer suggestions of other exercises that will still give you the similar workout that a burpee would, like a full body, you know, cardiovascular workout when you do burpees, but maybe not as intense or a different variation, or the exact opposite. Maybe the workout has, you know, push-ups, but push-ups are too easy for you. So it'll have advanced versions of the push-up that you can switch it to. So it's almost like it's randomly generating workouts for you, but at the same time, you can alter the exercises to be easier or harder depending on, you know, how advanced you are with your fitness. I'm really excited about that. Maybe when it comes out, I can talk more about it with you. I'm trying not to like spoil it because I want it to be a surprise. I've been working on it for a while. Yeah. But when it comes out, we can have another podcast talking about it.
Yeah, we'll do a part 2, throw it on YouTube, and yeah, man, that's awesome. All right, so I always ask people a couple questions at the end. So now I'm going to ask the Scott Herman, OG YouTube, Facebook fitness influencer. Some may say the Natty King, others say the Natty God. If Scott Herman had a billboard and you only had one message for the rest of eternity, so keep this in mind, eternity is not relative. So you can make it financial, but who knows if we're going to be using crypto or fiat or whatever. Maybe there might not even be any money in 30,000 years, right? So this is for the rest of eternity to look back on, right? What would Scott Herman's billboard be?
My billboard?
Yeah, like what if you had a billboard and you had one saying?
I think I would keep it simple, and I would just say, let's get started. And I would spell started, STAHHHTED.
Super people, Boston.
Yeah, dude, actually, did you know that if you go on Instagram and type in my name, that there's a GIF that says let's get started of me?
Oh no, I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a screenshot of this and I'm gonna post it and say coming soon, and then I'm gonna try to find that.
Dude, like I just, you know, maybe cross-armed to look kind of cool. let's get started right across the billboard. People be like, you know what? I want to get started. Let's go.
That's awesome, man. If Scott could go back 10 years or even 15 years, and there's one piece of advice that you would tell 15 prior year old Scott, what would be your biggest thing that you would tell them to do or tell them something not to do?
15-year-old Scott was a little too gullible with girls. I have to admit that. So I'd be like, stop being so damn nice and believing everything that you hear. Be more confident in yourself, because I was still a little introverted back then. I would say, put all your money in your bank account into Bitcoin when it was at 0.0001. And, when I was, younger, I always had the drive, right? So I always had what it took to get things done. Even when it came to miscellaneous things, I was always told when I was a kid, if you're going to do something, do it right. I guess if I were to go back in time and talk to 15-year-old me, I would probably give some tips on like what's about to come, right? Like with social media being something that was so new. I remember, when Facebook first came out, I was in college. I would give myself tips on how to really utilize and master that to get a business started and grow at an exponentially faster rate than I did, because everybody was kind of learning at the same time, right? Like imagine if you could go back in time right now, knowing like what types of videos work, what types of content works, types of thumbnails work, right? And pouring that knowledge into yourself before everybody else. People be like, where did this person come from? Like you would just be so ahead of the game and so on top of everything.
PewDiePie who?
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey man, if you just, act crazy on camera and just basically put anything out there, like throw everything at the wall and everything will stick.
Jake Paul and Logan Paul.
Yeah, man. Like, cause back then, marketing in general was so professional. Right. And I feel like that's one wall or barrier I had to break down as social media grew, was like, hey, not everything has to be perfect. People just want content.
Yeah,
and that's
true.
I think that's like the best advice you could give yourself back in the day, especially, following your passions with, fitness. Like I was like, hey, when you make your videos and you put yourself out there, it doesn't have to be so perfect. People just want content.
What about 25-year-old Scott? Not fitness, not content, nothing business-wise, just overall advice. What would you tell 25-year-old Scott?
Again, invest in Bitcoin, 0.0001.
Fitness, goddammit.
Well, I mean, what I did was, 25-year-old Scott was, the ambitious Scott that was making YouTube videos where everybody told him that he was a narcissistic, douchebag for filming himself in the gym. You know what I mean? So I guess I would say, continue believing in yourself and doing what you think is right. I noticed that when we're younger, we tend to not care as much about what other people think, especially if we're really outgoing. And then as we get older, we, for whatever reason, sometimes do start to think more about what other people think. Maybe it's because we're trying to, find, the meaning of our life. Maybe you're having a midlife crisis, or maybe you're not exactly where you thought you would be. I think the best advice you can give to yourself, or if you're listening to this and you're in your teens, you're in your 20s, if you have an idea and you believe in that idea, do not let anyone deter you from that. Push that idea as hard as you can. Put all your time into it. Put all your focus into it. And when people tell you you're crazy, tell them to come back in 4 or 5 years and ask you that same question if you really think it was worth it. Because if you've accomplished your goal, you're going to be incredibly happy and you're going to live the life you want to live. Don't be that person that had an idea and you keep telling yourself, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Because then 10 years go by and you never did it and somebody else did and they're reaping all the rewards.
I did want to ask you, when you were starting off on YouTube, I don't know, maybe the real world gave you a push, so maybe they gave you more confidence. I don't really remember. When you started your YouTube, did you have a lot of following already, or it was like ground zero?
It was pretty much ground zero.
Okay.
So basically,
that leads me to my next question. is when you started your YouTube videos and your fitness career, to say, and you were out there and you were filming yourself, but nobody was watching. Some would say that's a little like psychotic. You're like, you have to be a little crazy to keep going. And you're like, I don't even know if anyone's going to watch this shit. What made you keep going, and what gave you the inclination that this is going to be successful eventually?
You know, it's that it all stems from that feeling I had when I had gotten off the show and I was living in the city. I was like modeling and going on doing acting and all that stuff. And I just started to have this longing for coaching and helping people. Because you have to understand, I worked in a gym from 14 to 24, literally just helping people every single day, whether it was exercise advice, helping them boost their confidence. Because, when you're a personal trainer, you're also like you're a shrink at the same time, right? Your clients tell you all their problems and you got to solve them for them while also helping them, get big biceps and lose body fat. So being in that for 10 years straight and then living in the city for almost 2 years and being away from that, it just created this longing inside of me. Like, I need to go back to helping people. It's what I like to do. It's where I feel the most comfortable, where I feel the happiest. And so when I started creating my YouTube videos, that feeling inside me, I feel like that's what drove me. I knew it was going to work, and I knew it was going to help people, because the more I did it, the better I felt about myself. Because it was so incredibly awesome back then to spend all night filming, because I would film when the gym closed at 10, and then I would film videos until like 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, edit those videos, throw them on YouTube, and like literally the next day I would meet people, be like, hey, I just put out a video on how to do this exercise correctly. You can watch it, on your own time. Here's the link. And I would just be literally telling people every single day, check out what I filmed last night. Check out what I just posted. It's going to help you. Or, maybe I sat down with somebody and they couldn't afford training. And I'd be like, listen, it's okay if you don't know how to use that machine, because I can show you how to do it right here on my YouTube channel. And so I guess I got to see its progress in real time, helping people. And that's what let me know that I was on the right path.
What would you tell someone right now if they wanted to start a YouTube channel, whether it was in fitness or cryptocurrency, finance, whatever, right? Painting. What would you tell someone right now that wanted to start and they want to make a career out of YouTube, but they don't have a following, and maybe they don't have too much capital to do, paid ads or something like that? What would you tell that person?
Well, first and foremost, YouTube will deny this, but they love pushing newer channels and content creators. So you do have an advantage of like don't feel like if you were to start now, it's too late. YouTube does like to push newer channels. So you will get seen if you start creating. The second thing that I would say is your content doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, you can film amazing content with a phone. I mean, when I first started my YouTube channel, I was using like one of those flip cameras, that was terrible quality. It was cool at the time. Do you remember those? It was like a little camera, and then it had a USB that would flip out on the side. You could just plug it right into your computer and download the footage. Yep. Right? That's my entire first 2 years of filming was on the flip camera, and it did just fine, because people just want content. And when they're tuning in to see you, and they're tuning in to see your personality. So be consistent, but also don't burn yourself out, right? Don't promise that you're going to upload a new video every single day if you can't upload a new video every single day. Because remember, if your goal is longevity, that's 365 videos a year that you're going to upload. That's a lot of videos. Put yourself on a schedule. Hey, I'm going to upload videos every Tuesday and Thursday, and if I have time, maybe on Sunday, right? Like, have a schedule so let people know you will be uploading weekly, but make sure it's something that you can actually commit to. And then just have fun with it. And don't be so worried about the editing. Don't be so worried about, the camera quality. Like, obviously get the basics down, have semi-decent good lighting, maybe try to invest in like a land mic if you're talking a lot, just so that it doesn't sound like you're echoing in your room. And then just let your passion show through the content that you film.
Now, just play devil's advocate here. What would you say to someone that's put out 10, 20, 30, 40 videos and they've gotten like 10 views and it's not catching on. And they're like, they're debating whether they should even spend their time doing this because maybe they could get another job or do a side hustle or something. What would you tell that person?
So when I did my YouTube channel, when I first started out, I didn't just like dive fully into my channel and then everything was peachy. I went back to work as, a trainer, general manager at the club that I filmed my videos in, because I was like, okay, I see the potential here, but I'm going to need to supplement my income until my YouTube channel is making enough so that I can do that full time. And for me, I thought that was the smartest way to do it. And a lot of people, they don't like doing jobs that they don't like to do. Me growing up, my family was okay. Like we never went without, but I had a lot of side jobs, a lot of side hustles that I did. I mean, I had a DJ business for 8 years. I got my financial advising license when I was in college. When I was really young, I did landscaping. I would always try to find
that northern way, man.
Yeah. Like I would always try to find a way to make money so that I could do and get the things that I wanted. And not that I didn't like working as a personal trainer. Obviously, I loved it because that's what I grew up doing and it's part of what I do now. But, it did get to a point to where I was like, I like being a trainer, but I also like doing the YouTube videos because I can reach way more people on a much larger scale with the same information. And so it was a trickle effect, like as I was making more money here, I was taking on less clients. And then once I hit that point where I could pay my bills, then I switched over to YouTube, 100% of the time. That's awesome. So I would say if you don't like your job you're doing right now and your videos haven't quite taken off yet, do some research, make sure your thumbnails are what's trendy. A lot of times having the right thumbnail can be the difference between your video getting watched and people ignoring it. Okay.
So crazy.
So look at what other people are doing in your niche and see what's working. And try to adopt that and make it obviously your own. But, if you're working a job you hate, unfortunately, you got to suck it up, keep working that job, keep paying your bills, and know that one day you'll be able to quit because your passion will start to take off. Like you can never doubt yourself. Doubting yourself is the worst thing you can do. I actually, I just posted a meme. I'm going to read it to you right now. I posted it on my Instagram yesterday. It has Bruce Lee on it. It's pretty cool. It says, don't speak negatively about yourself, even as a joke. Your body doesn't know the difference. Words are energy and cast spells. That's why it's called spelling. Change the way you speak about yourself and you can change your life. What you're not changing, you're also choosing. So basically, law of attraction. If you think you suck and your videos suck and you're going to suck forever, then you probably are. But if you have confidence in yourself and what you're doing and you see the light at the end of the rainbow, so when I was doing the YouTube, my buddy Dave, who was the guy I worked for 10 years, he got so mad at me. He was like, because he treated me like, his son. He known me for so long. Right. He's like, he goes, what are you doing, Scotty? You doing these stupid videos? He goes, you're going to be living under a bridge. You're not going to have, you're not going to have a serious job. You need to stick with what you know, whatever. He's like, at the time, remember, I'm like 23, 24 years old. He's like, there's people out there that are smarter than you, bigger than you, stronger than you, no more than you, more ripped than you. Why is anyone going to watch your videos on YouTube? And I was such a prick. I looked at him. I'm like, I don't know, but I'm going to make millions. He just gets so mad at me. but
it worked out.
And a few years back, we were hanging out at his house back up in New Hampshire. And he's like, he goes, I doubted you. He goes, but you did it and you were right, So he gave credit where it was due.
Wow. That's incredible. So you heard it here, folks, that if you are starting a new channel and whether you haven't started it yet or you started it, but it's not picking up and the progress is relatively low to what your expectations are, Scott Herman said it here first on the Justin Caviar Show that there is potential for you to grow big. You just got to keep being persistent. You got to keep doing it and don't quit your damn job.
Yeah. I mean,
That's awesome,
even
man.
like it's okay to, to be confident and know that it's going to work. But at the same time, don't go all in if you don't have a way to pay your bills.
Right.
Like that's just not
For
smart.
sure.
And that's
For
not
sure.
like, and that doesn't necessarily mean you're doubting, because from that quote I just read, it's like believe in yourself and it'll happen. You
Yep.
know, but it's like, okay, it might not happen tomorrow. It will happen, but you make sure
Right.
you can pay your bills and afford food,
Exactly. Yeah. This is not financial advice, just so you
Yes.
guys know.
Not financial advice.
This is not financial advice. Do not quit your day job, start a YouTube channel, and hope that everything's going to work out. Because it might work out, but it might take 3 years.
Yeah, might take some time, but when it
That's cool, though,
takes
man.
off, it will.
That's awesome. Are you growing? Do you see like new subscribers and new
Oh, yeah.
viewers grow consistently?
Oh yeah, I still gain, anywhere between like 10 to 20,000 subscribers a month.
That's awesome, man.
Well, because
That's awesome.
my videos, especially my educational content, and that's what's so great about it. Like you'll notice on YouTube, like vlogs, for example, get a lot of views right up front, right? Because it's like the next vlog. Educational content doesn't always get a lot of views right up front, but I mean, you go back to those videos a month or two down the line, and then they have like an extra 100,000 views because educational content is timeless. So all those, like, if you look up how to plank, that my how to plank video has like 20 or 24 million views or something like that, because it's embedded everywhere. And I'm pretty sure that video took off when planking was like a really cool thing. You remember when people were like planking on?
That was
like
way back in the day. That was 2011 or something, 2012.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So,
Man.
hey, that educational. Hey, how do you do a plank? I want to go do some planking. Oh, this is a Scott Herman video on how to plank. That's 2 minutes long. Let me look at that real quick.
There we go. And it comes back to the YouTube shorts. Boom.
Exactly. It's all cyclical.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. My other question for you is, what books have you gifted to employees, friends, family, etc., clients, maybe in the past, 2 or 3 years?
One of them is Think and Grow Rich. It's a really good book. Anybody should read if they're, an entrepreneur and they're looking for ways to, I guess, broaden their mind, their horizon. I also, not necessarily the book, I like watching the DVD of The Secret. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah. 2006. Yeah. I think it was Rhonda something. Yeah. The Secret. And she had a whole series. I used to love those.
Well, what's so great about that movie, that DVD? I mean, even if you don't want to buy into everything that they say in that, I noticed that when I do watch it, and I will rewatch it, every so often, it just puts me back in the mindset of I need to think positive about what I am doing in order to, achieve that goal and bring that positive energy. Like in the Secret, they're like, if you want to be a millionaire, just think about being a millionaire. It's like, well, yeah, but you also need to like do stuff. You can't just think about it all the time.
It's one component of it for sure. Yes. But thinking that you're not going to be rich is not going to get you rich. So
correct.
It's a good start. I think watching The Secret. Yeah, I think watching The Secret in stuff that's relative to The Secret it's good reset, right? Because we get caught up in this little anthill, right? I think of humans as we're in this giant anthill called Earth. But if you were extraterrestrial or a god or higher power, or whatever, and you were to look at Earth and you would see all the like little bullshit rat race that people do going back and forth, it's kind of like looking at a bunch of ants. Like when you look down at an anthill and you see they're running around, they're all sporadic, but it's just this little hill. And then they have the whole world, and in that, comparing it to us, it would be the whole galaxy or whatever. It's just an interesting concept that you really want to focus on what's important, because this life is temporary and your problems are, for the most part, are temporary. You really want to focus on the big picture. And I feel like watching The Secret, it kind of resets you and go, okay, even though maybe law of attraction might not, who knows? Some people say it's true. Some people say it's not. But I could tell you that if you're thinking negative, you're going to get more negativity. And you can think positive and shitty stuff can happen to you. Sure. But if you have the tendency of thinking more in a positive way, in a positive structure and cadence, you will have a lot more beneficiary things happen to you on a more regular basis versus the other way, which you're kind of, priming yourself for bad shit to happen.
Oh, I agree. I can actually tell you, when you're, especially, and you can relate this to business and also relationships. So I'll do it with relationships first. I'm sure many of you listening have been in a relationship and it doesn't go right. Maybe the person breaks up with you and you're heartbroken and you're like, why? I cared about you so much, whatever, right? I've had relationships like that. And now fast forward 10, 15 years or whatever, I look back and I see where those people are now, and they're just on a completely different path than that I'm on. And it just goes to show you, like, things happen for a reason. At the time, I was very, maybe you were very upset, but that breakup needed to happen in order for you to go down the path that you were meant to go on. And the same thing with business. Like, a missed business opportunity isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just wasn't the right one. And I notice whenever something happens that I don't like, and I fight it and fight it and fight it, it's like more bad. Well, maybe bad isn't the right word, but I'm going to use it anyways. Like, more bad things start happening, or more things that I don't want to happen keep happening. And that's what I've come to realize is when I see those patterns, that's the universe telling me, like, cut the shit. Like, I'm trying to make you not do this for a reason that you don't know yet, but 10 years from now, you're gonna see why it's gonna work out, So you do have to work on being intuitive, especially with, like, things happening in your life. And I feel like a lot of people nowadays, because we're so distracted by TV and social media, that most people's intuition, it doesn't really work, right? Like, if you don't learn to trust yourself and your instincts, whether it's business, whether it's your own personal safety, whether it's relationships, like, you need to learn to trust your instincts, because 9 times out of 10, they will save your ass. Like, for example, if you're walking down the street and you feel sketchy all of a sudden, you should probably turn around and not walk down that street. But most people be like, oh, that's weird, and just keep going. And then they get mugged or get into a car accident or something. Like, trust your instincts. The more you trust them, the stronger they get. And that might sound like some far-fetched ideology bullshit, but I'm telling you, the more you trust your instincts, like, the more you trust them, the stronger they get, and the more successful they're going to be.
What if you have shitty instincts? I know a lot of people that they'll walk right into a fireball and not even realize it. They're in their own way. And a lot of smart people, a lot of medical people, they'll be like, oh, what's that? And they're, like, completely oblivious to life, even though they're super smart and, textbook smart.
Well, that's what I think. I feel like if your instincts are bad, it's because in certain aspects of your life, you're just suppressing them without even realizing it, Like, I believe in signs. So for example, yeah. So I was watching, for those of you who don't know, so, like, the whole crypto market kind of, like, took a nosedive like 2 months ago. It's recovered since then, but it took a little bit of a nosedive, went in the red, and then it went back up, recently. Now it's actually even higher. Yeah. So I was watching this show on Netflix. I can't remember the name of it. But it has the guy who was the head of the military people in Transformers. He's married to Gwen Stefani, I think. No, not Gwen Stefani.
No, Gwen Stefani, that's Blake Shelton.
No, yeah. Who's the in Transformers? Who's the guy that's the head of, like, the military people?
It's been a while. Hold on, I'll see.
I'm gonna look right now because I want to tell you the name of this show. So basically, it's a show about these people who get superpowers, and I can't remember the name of it. Transformers.
Let's see, I'm looking for the cast. Okay, here we go. Cast. Peter Cullen? No, that's Optimus Prime. Never mind. Mark Wahlberg. Who else we got here?
He's the head.
Is it Glenn Morshower?
Glenn General. Let me see.
Oh, this guy was in Star Trek.
Everyone listening. Oh yeah, Josh Duhamel.
Oh, Josh Duhamel.
Josh Duhamel. Yes.
Shout out to Josh Duhamel.
All right, so let me see what show it is that I just watched. Jupiter's Legacy. There we go. So in Jupiter's Legacy, they keep doing flashbacks because now that they have superpowers, they don't age as fast. But his family had a business during the time of the stock market crash. Okay. And I swear to God, the crypto market was just starting to flutter a little bit. I was seeing like a little bit of red, and I was starting to think things were going bad. And then that night, I watched this show, and it was the episode where the stock market crashed, and his dad like jumped off the top of the building to kill himself because a lot of people did that when the stock market crashed. And I got this intense feeling that I should sell out of all my positions because it's gonna crash. Right. Next day, everything fucking dived. Excuse my French. And guess who didn't trust their instincts? Me. And
you sold out?
No, I didn't. I didn't sell anything because I'm like, no, that's just a coincidence. There's no way that this is real.
Yeah.
And it was. And I missed out.
Wow.
But now I'm fine because the market recovered. But I could have had probably double what I have now if I listened to my instincts.
It doubled. It's funny. Everybody wants to buy, but then when the market drops, they're like, oh. But they know it's going to go back up. But for whatever reason, it's like human instinct hinders them from buying more when it's down.
Yeah, man. But hey, if I listened to my instincts, I would have sold before the crash, and then I would have bought the dip. Would have picked up ADA at $1.20. I mean, sweet. Now it's at $3. Come on.
Yeah. That's why I always tell my friends, again, this is not financial advice, but when you're investing in anything, when you're investing in people, business, anything, always look for the future. Is this going to be around in the future? And if it is going to be around in the future, why is it going to be around? And really understand who's running the show, right? I always like watching podcasts with founders. That's why I love Vitalik and I like watching Charles. You really want to understand the person that's running the show. And if you trust them and you respect their intellect, that's a good start. And then the second is, okay, now what they're doing and what they're contributing to, is this going to be viable in the future? And if the answer is yes, that's a good investment, in my opinion. Again, this is not financial advice.
And not financial advice.
Invest at your own risk. Awesome, man. I just want to do a quick rapid fire and then we'll get out of here. For people, I want to do the 10-page book at Barnes & Noble's, okay? Growing your YouTube channel. Straight to the point answer. What do they do?
Be consistent. Make sure your thumbnails are clean and they work. Make sure your titles are, inquisitive. Try to post your titles as like a question. So instead of like 5 exercises for chest growth, be like, these 5 exercises for chest growth. You know what I mean? Like make it more interesting. And literally set a schedule and be consistent.
Growing your Instagram.
Same thing with Instagram. You need to be consistent. You also have to make sure you're keeping up with what hashtags work. Hashtags are really big. And, photos do really well on Instagram, but you want to grow really fast. You want shareable content. So I noticed that when I post photos, I get a ton of likes, a ton of comments, maybe some saves and some shares. But if I post a workout carousel, the likes might not be as high as like a sexy pic, but the shares are through the roof and the saves are through the roof. So make sure you're looking at those all of everything, not just the likes, the shares and the saves as well. Analytics.
Okay. All right. Top foods to eat and top foods to avoid. Just one or two.
Top
like
foods.
Eggs, top, whatever.
Top foods to eat for me is I love any type of rice. I love broccoli and I love chicken and salmon. Those are like my tops.
Okay. What foods should people avoid?
Anything with a colorful cartoon character on it, like you probably shouldn't be eating it if you want to get ripped. And as much as you want to believe living off of Pop-Tarts and if it fits your macros doesn't apply to you if you're natural. So make sure you're eating regular food. Do you remember that? There was like a time where like all these kids on YouTube were like, I eat Pop-Tarts and ice cream every day and I'm ripped. I'm like, and you're also on drugs.
You're also on Tren. You're eating Tremboloni sandwiches every day for lunch.
Every day, Tremboloni sandwiches with Pop-Tarts and ice cream.
If you're scarfing down Count Chocula, don't expect to get ripped.
There needs to be like a joke series with Jeff Foxworthy. You might be a redneck. Like if you're ripped and you eat Pop-Tarts every day, you might be on Tremboloni sandwiches.
Tremboloni sandwiches are real. They work, but you will lose your hair if you're prone to hair loss.
I don't want to lose my hair. Keep that.
Yeah, I know. If I took Tren, that shit, I would look like Lex Luthor and Professor X. Real quick.
Lex Luthor would be a good look, though. He's pretty badass.
He would. My dad looks like Lex Luthor. He's bald and serious and muscular still, and he's in his 50s.
Does your dad ever tell you that he is your future? So like my dad, my dad is a little overweight, and I make fun of him sometimes when he makes fun of me, and he looks right at me and goes, "Remember, I am your future."
That's awesome. Yeah, my whole family's from New York, so they're hardcore like that. So same thing. Like I'm assuming your family's from Mass, the same type of people, hardcore Northerners. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, my dad is like the driest sense of humor, but it's hilarious.
Oh yeah, yeah. People don't get it. I try to, because my girl's from Ohio and the Midwest. They're actually like nice people.
Yeah. My wife's the same way because she's from Brazil.
Yeah. Northeastern people like Mass and Pennsylvania, Jersey, New York, they're good people, but they just have a weird way of expressing themselves to the rest of the world to say. Like they come off as kind of like you're an asshole, but they're not. They're actually really good and reliable people. They just have a weird way of going about it. They have their own cadence of speaking. So it's funny because my dad's the same way. And I love it because I know he means well, but someone that's not from New York or Mass or whatever, I'm like, oh my God, these people are a group of assholes.
I watch like Family Guy with my wife and laugh, and like she's like, I don't understand why that's funny. I'm like, it's funny because
Scott,
it's not funny.
Why is that funny?
Yeah. Like
Are you a bad person, Scott?
Well, there's like a scene in Family Guy where like everybody's laughing and Peter's laughing, and then he just starts laughing like harder and louder than everyone, and like just starts staring at the camera and just keeps like laughing like an asshole. and it's funny because he's trolling, And my wife's like, "Why is that funny?" I'm like, "Because it just is. It's just funny."
Yeah, different sense of humor is same thing with Europeans, right? If you go over to England, it's dry sense of humor, and I love it. But some people, it just depends on what you're used to, man. All right, Scott. Well, I could talk to you forever, man. You're a freaking awesome dude. You're an OG, a legend in the fitness industry, and a new future legend in the crypto space and video game world. How do people reach out to you? Buy your stuff, give you money, send you crypto. How does that look?
Well, if you guys are looking for one-on-one coaching, you can go to my website, muscularstrength.com. And I have a form you can fill out there, and you can give a little bit about yourself, what you're looking for, how your fitness journey has been. And if you want to reach out and chat, you can follow me on Instagram, Scott Herman Fitness. And I've actually been really active on my Twitter lately. And my Twitter is at Scott_Herman. Actually, if you're super into Call of Duty, you want to see some dirty headshots, I got last night. I posted those clips. Shot this guy right out of a helicopter. One shot. It was pretty beast mode. That's but I've been using I hadn't used Twitter for so long, but I've been using it a lot now to just to chat more with people about fitness or gaming or crypto or anything. I'm actually having a lot of fun with it.
Do you think is Twitter a viable option now for growth?
I feel like my Twitter, not necessarily. I'm not using it necessarily for growth. I'm just using it because like on Instagram and on YouTube, those aren't really the places just to like. For what I do, because they're like fitness pages. It's not the place for me to just randomly just talk about whatever I want to talk about or post whatever I want. It would look out of place. Right. And I have an opinion about a lot of stuff and random stuff. But on Twitter, I can post a link and write a comment, and then people will respond because it's almost like that's what's expected there, Right. So I've been more active on my Twitter lately with that.
All right. So go follow Scott on Twitter. And then to sign up, how does somebody sign up for your stuff?
To sign up for my stuff, you go to muscularstrength.com. Go to the Join Now page. You'll be prompted to make a profile, and you'll get 7 days free. You can try any of my workout programs on the website, my custom meal planner, and you'll also have access to my exercise and routine database. So for those of you who followed me for a while on YouTube, I have a lot of exercise demonstrations, and I have a lot of like one-off routines, whether it's like a full body, upper body, lower body, bicep, chest, whatever. All of those routines and videos, hundreds and hundreds of them, are organized by body part on my website in the exercise and routine database. So you'll have access to that.
Boom. And one question is just, I want to make sure that we solidify the deal. There's millions and millions of fitness influencers. Why am I picking Scott Herman?
Because you can trust me. I've been around for a long time. Anytime I make a video, I do my research. There's been times where I won't necessarily say I was wrong in the past, but things do change. The thought process of, well, actually, no, I can say I was wrong, my how-to squat videos back in the day were 90-degree squats because that's what I was taught when I was becoming a personal trainer. I was taught to squat 90 degrees and bench 90 degrees. And that's in my original videos. That's how I taught how to do those exercises. But obviously now, no, that's wrong. Bring that bar all the way down to your chest and bring that ass to the grass when you squat. And I feel like a lot of people come back to my videos to learn new things because they know I'm always researching to find out to make sure I'm giving you guys the proper information.
There you go, guys. Join Scott because you can trust him. He's an OG. He's been around for a while and true connoisseur of the fitness industry, the new crypto industry, and the video game industry. If you want incredible headshots while he wears his Broly hair. All right.
You know what's good? Like, I can't even wear my Broly hair when I game because number one, I can't get my headset on, and number two, it's green. So when I put my green screen, I'm gonna have to get a blue screen to wear that.
Oh my god, that's sick. All right, man. Do you have any questions for me before we go?
Nah, man. Let's just get together next time I'm in Tampa. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Sounds good. If I'm in Orlando, I'll reach out to you, man.
We can go get acai bowls.
Oh, we will get acai bowls, and I'll play you in air hockey. You heard it here, folks. From Scott Herman's mouth to Justin Caviar's ears to the Justin Caviar Nation to the Hermanites. This is the Justin Caviar Show, and we are out. Bye-bye, y'all.